Hey there everyone, it's Indy here with another casting of StarCraft 2 professional matchup, and this is going to be an amazing match because this is a DreamHacks best of 5 series with none other than these two extremely strong Terran players. So without further ado, let me introduce them. We have the blue Terran player in the bottom right hand corner, known to be as Maru, versus the red Terran player in the top right left hand corner, known as Cure. And so it looks like right now we do have a pretty standard opening. This is the map Curious Minds right now. We do have a standard opening. Both players are going to be taking a quick supply depot and potentially go into a barracks or a refinery really quickly here. Yes, a barracks and a refinery for both players right now. So it looks to be like this build order is going to be more macro based, more economic based, and with a little bit of harassment. It would not surprise me if we had that. I mean, the barracks did go down roughly around that 40-second mark, which is atypical timing for these types of builds. And so we do have a different type of wall off right here. We have a complete wall off, or potentially complete wall off right here. Just needs to build another supply depot to have a nice wall, versus the other Terran player, which opts to go for more of just practicality in essence, in terms of timing. And it does not want to put a wall right here just due to the positioning. If you have to build a reactor or a tech lab, it's really going to get in a way on this southern ramp. So both players are going to be playing to their advantage based on their location. We do see another supply depot coming out with the development of an orbital command and 2 Reapers. So this quick refinery is going to aid in that. We do have a factory coming down for both players roughly around the same time. So yeah, both players are going to be doing the exact same economic build, and this is an all-round build. We have so many different types of variations that players can take towards the mid game, mid to late game. Late mid game, one of those games. And as you guys know, I am a Go streamer, a Go commentator as well, and so variations, especially when 2 players are nearly of equal strengths, your variation decision as well as your ability to micro in these quick scenario type matches is going to make all the difference. We do see an expansion coming out for both players right now. Very standard opening, very calm, very collected. Not too much action right now. We do see a Hellion coming out in the production facility of both players, and so with another Reaper, and so it's going to be, it really is just going to be coming down to micro, in my opinion. With that, we're just going to have to wait. And so, oh man. I mean, I guess I could start filling in the time by saying, hey guys, this is my 3rd time casting a StarCraft 2 professional match. I am studying a lot of different types of build orders right now. And I'm just a casual player that really do enjoy these types of matches. We haven't seen too much action just yet. We do see more development of Reapers and 2 Hellions. Now it's going to go out for the scouting, and potentially putting a lot of pressure by approaching the blue Terran player. But however, we do see a difference in variation between both players, where the blue Terran decided to go for a Widow Mine instead of a second Hellion. And this could be a big game changer, because if the red Terran player is going to walk up this ramp, this Widow Mine is going to make massive damage of these Reapers, assuming that the target's onto those Reapers. We do see some Cyclones and some Marines being built for both players right now, and also a tech lab being added on, most likely to the factory. Oh no, to the starport. It's going to be added to the starport, and so most likely a Raven might be coming out. Yes, a Raven will be coming out really quickly for detection, as well as the amazing point defense drones. Those will be really good, especially against the Cyclones barrage attack. So but we do see some scouting. We do have an observer Xel'Naga Tower right here, and just controlling the Xel'Naga Tower is going to be a big benefit to either players. There's a lot of expansions out on the field, and right now it seems to be super calm. Red has retreated for now, but blue is still on the production, building siege tanks for both players, developing another command center to hopefully expand out to this low ground natural right here, or low ground 3rd expansion right here. And so, oh man, and this is just the thing. It's like, if both players are playing the exact same style, like it would be so interesting to see what their decision is later on in the game. Will Maru go straight mech, or will Cure go straight Sky Terran? Who knows? And it's just gonna be super, super exciting. I love TVT matches. TVT matches, at least back in the day when I was watching these during Wings of Liberty, were the exciting matches for me. So, oh man. Anyways, we're going to continue on out right here. We are going to bring a sizable force. However, there are no medevacs for these Marines. So if these Marines stim up, but they right now they don't have stim available. But if we do research stim or combat shields, they're going to be very, very squishy if there's no support with health regeneration. We do see a nice placement of the Widow Mine in the front door of Maru's base. I actually really like this. This really does help prevent any types of run-bys. It does alert Maru ahead of time to see if someone's at your front door. Just due to those pesky fog of wars, it's really hard to take a look. But we do have two little Reapers right here. Keeping an eye on the outlier expansions. We do want to pay attention to these outlier expansions because over time, you know, some players might be a little cheeky and just take a secret base. And it's always a good idea to just scout around every so often, especially if you're up against a Zerg player, to take a look at those expansions so that you're not behind in your economy. We see the third command center going down for the second high ground expansion right here. It's going to be a little bit harder to defend because the units will have to walk a little bit longer just to get to this positioning, but you do have the high ground. So if they do come up from the low ground up the ramp, it's going to be much easier to defend, in my opinion. Versus the low ground right here, I mean, you do have this cliff. If you were to siege up some siege tanks, I mean, they can only go towards past the mineral line right here, so it doesn't really do much on the defensive barrier. But we do see a very close interaction, and we do see a little bit of a skirmish with the Widow Mines right here. So now Maru has been super alerted, and a scan has went down for Cure, planning to see if there's going to be indeed a third expansion at the low ground, and yes, there was. And this sensor tower is such a brilliant move. The sensor tower is going to really be a good knock alert. And right now, Maru can see that the Red Terran, just the massive amount of units for the Red Terran is right outside his door. So he's going to be sieging up some siege tanks, doing some defensive maneuvers right here, as well as, you know, going out. And we can see that 1-1 is starting to be researched with Stim Pack. We have a very standard opening with Vikings, Ravens, and siege tanks. So this is really... Oh man, I can't wait for the big clash. The big clash is going to be, it's going to be cool. But we're just gonna have to wait and see because there's just, you know, little skirmishes here and there. I believe this was a Reaper or a Marine, a scouting Marine maybe. Oh, sorry, Bob. I mean, no, Bob is resting. He's just sleeping right now, guys, right? He's just sleeping. But anyways, we're gonna wait. I mean, this is a huge sizable sum, and if we look at the units right here, we have 63 SCVs to 75. So the income tab is going to be a little bit higher for the blue Terran player. And this is going to be a big thing, but we do have mule support. So it might not be as wide as it can be. We have 2 Ravens for each, a little bit more Marine for the Red Terran player. But everything else is essentially identical besides the Reaper count. I believe the blue Terran player's Reapers has all died. So that was a Reaper right here earlier. So we're just gonna, and in upgrades again, there's only 2 stim packs, and so we're just waiting for 1-1 to finish, I think. And then I think once 1-1 finishes, maybe a timing push will come out and try to do something. But those point defense drones are gonna be a game changer. Vikings, as you guys know, Vikings are a projectile attack, and so those point defense drones will cancel out a lot of those projectiles. And so it's going to essentially make the Viking very null in this case. And we do have 2 Ravens for each player. And so depending on how early they're out, will determine how many point defense drones we have. But we do see a little bit of small skirmish here. 3 Marines versus 2, both stimming, both attacking. Sensor towers for both. Oh my gosh, look at that. Sensor tower, sensor tower, sensor tower. There's triple sensor towers going on. No one's taking, only one unit is taking the Zelnaga tower right here. And so Oh my gosh, we're at almost we're almost at max supply, guys. We're almost at max supply. Yes, 75, 60-ish are for SCVs, but the rest is just pure army. And it looks like we are going to be very heavy in the bio for the support. We do have a lot of siege tanks for defense right here, but again, for the blue Terran player, they're extremely on the defensive right now. They're not sieging up all they're not unsieging all of their siege tanks right here. So this is going to be a huge battle right here. Oh my gosh, point defense drones or seeker missiles. Okay, the seeker missiles, I like that. I like that. We do have some armor reduction right here for the red Terran right here. Those seeker missiles did do a really wonderful volley. I would love to see some point defense drones, but oh my gosh, these siege tanks are just picking off units left and right. How many kills does this one has? 2 kills, 2 kills, 2 kills. Wow, all of these siege tanks has a good number of kills. And so if we look at the income, how about the loss tab? The unit loss, we do have more resources lost for the red Terran player, right? As of right now, we do have one of the command centers being lifted off. We're trying to kill off all these SCVs right here. This is going to really pull back the red Terran player quite a bit. Just because it denies that mining time. And as you guys know, with mining time, it's going to be a snowball type of effect. And so we do see more production being made. We do see level 3 upgrades coming out for the blue Terran player for Maru. Oh man, this is such a close game right now because we don't know who's going to win. Yes, Maru might be taking a little bit more of a hit, but that denial on the third expansion is going to play a huge role, especially if you're fully saturated on 4 other bases. Just denying 1 base and allowing yourself to really increase in income for that short period of time is going to make a big difference. We do have a lot of scans going down right now. We do see the red siege tanks are piling up right here, denying the 5th expansion for the blue Terran player. Oh man, but I would love to see some skirmishes, maybe some medevac drops right here on this base or around. But right now we're incredibly focused with the siege tank right here. Ooh, that was a big loss on that siege tank. And the high ground vision with the Xel'Naga tower is just going to clean up the Marine forces right here. That is a slaughter. Oh my gosh. Oh, goodbye, Timmy. Goodbye. And so we do see another sensor tower coming up, and I think that's a really nice move right there. It just gives us a nice outline of where the Terran player is, but this Xel'Naga capture tower right here is going to give the siege tank that vision, that extra 1 range in vision, where the siege tank will be able to shoot any other siege weapons that have a fog of war or that can't see that far. So we do see the battle for the control of the Xel'Naga tower, and we do see Maru does see that single unit right there. Obviously, it's not going to be shown right here, but he will see that there is a red mark right here, notifying that Cured does indeed have something scouting this expansion right here. So Maru is not going to be able to take that expansion super easily without the other Terran knowing about it. So, ooh man. Battles back and forth. We do see a lot of production coming up for both players. We have, well, how many racks is this in this base? We have 5 racks, 2 factories, as well as 4 starports. So it looks like the red Terran player is going to go more of a Sky Terran versus the blue Terran is going to still mainly go for bio. Ooh, I'm not sure if bio is going to be the right answer. We do see more starports coming out, but the red Terran was able to get the starport out a lot quicker than the blue Terran. And just having that infantry behind without too many medevacs is going to be an issue. Maybe Maru's thinking of adding on more medevacs for a heavy bio build, but against that many siege tank, it's going to be like a blender. And so we do see a planetary fortress coming up for defensive purposes. We do see the cancellation on that 6 command center. We do see that Maru or Cure did take a 5th expansion, and so it looks like right now Cure is going to be ahead in the economy route. We have a secret missile coming off, and we do see the blender of the Marines. Oh my gosh, the blender of the Marines is it's devastating. It's devastating my heart. But we do see a huge engagement right here, and you know. Cure, you gotta learn from Obi-Wan Kenobi. If your opposing player has the high ground, if your opponent has the high ground, it's not an advantageous spot. I mean, your siege tanks are on the ramp and they are on the low ground, so there will be some inaccuracies in the firing of those siege tanks. You will have a reduction in accuracies. So, man, if only these Vikings can just land and just take out the rest of these siege tanks, that would be wonderful. But with that amount of resources already embedded in the Vikings, we do see a skirmish attack coming out right here, while the blue Terran is preoccupied with the group, with the half of the group up on the northern side. The southern group is going to go down, and Maru will definitely see that, because those are what those sensor towers are for. And so Maru is going to see that Cure is going to be knocking on his expansion right here very, very soon. So the retreat was most imminent. We don't want to see a side attack while you're preoccupied up here in the northern field. And we do see Maru taking that final 6th expansion. Ooh, we do see a medevac drop coming out very, very soon. Ooh. But those sensor towers are in such a prime location that even if they go through the back right here and go into the production line, you would need to distract the Terran, the opposing Terran heavily. So that means these two main armies must clash at this moment for this drop to work efficiently. You gotta really. And so Maru does see that the drop is going to be imminent. And this is right now, it's going to be a psychological warfare. What does Maru do? Does Maru go and attack the expansion and allow this drop to happen? Does he start producing more units to defend his base? Who knows? But right now, we are going to go straight in for that battle. Oh my gosh. And we do see, oh, what is this ability? We do see some sort of ability going down, secret missile ability, reducing a lot of the armor right here. Oh my gosh. And we do have vehicle platings going up. We do have level 3 vehicle platings or vehicle attack for both players, or actually for what do you call it? For Maru. There we go. As you guys can see, I'm still very new at this. I'm trying, I'm learning, and it's been a blast. But my goodness, oh man, the psychological warfare of these two games right now. What are the Terrans going to do right now? Cure is playing a heavy mind game, just showing those two drops. Maru cannot be so aggressive where he overextends and loses his production facility to that drop. I mean, that is, I wouldn't even know what to do in this situation. Maybe get myself a drop as well and play the same game back. But I really don't think that's going to work too well. And so we just see a back and forth between the two groups. And you know, right now it's at like an impasse. It's really like an impasse. We do see the economy for both players a little bit higher for the Red Terran right now. Now the Red Terran is going to try to take back his 5th expansion. And so we do have the minerals mined out already on the 1st expansion. The natural is going to be mining out for both players very, very soon. And so it will come down to these outlying expansions right here for the late game. And so we're entering the late game right now. We do see that siege tank getting taken out, and that Xel'Naga tower now being occupied by the Terran player, and the blue Terran player has now occupied both the Xel'Naga towers. So that's going to give a huge advantage of just sight and foresight for Maru. Ooh, that was a beautiful secret missile. Oh, for both players, beautiful secret missiles on both sides, really hurting those Ravens. And I believe this is a disabling effect, a static disabling effect that was very similar to the Brood Wars ghosts. What I forgot, the lockdown effect, I think it was called. for Brood War. So, oh man. I gotta research this. I did not know this was a new update. I haven't played SC2 in such a long time, and so these updates are still fairly new to me. We do see a lot of lockdowns going on for those siege tanks, and now blue is just gonna come straight on in. Does red still have that drop? Where are those 2 medevacs? Let me see. 2 medevacs. Oh, they're all in the army? No, that's... Yeah, they're all in the army right now. So we won't be seeing any drop shenanigans right here. And we're just going to go straight into it. I mean, holding on to the Xel'Naga Tower is such a big thing. And we do have a triple command center right here in the top right-hand corner. Really freeing up the supply of the SCVs, probably, just so that you can only have mules. That might be a better alternative. Right now, you do have quite a number of orbital command centers. And as minerals mining out, those SCVs are going to be a burden on the supply count. And so right now, we are getting below the 150 mark. Hopefully, they're able to replenish it as the time is going on. But right now, Maru is ahead in the supply count. And so if we look at the units tab, Cure is very heavily... in SCV supply, and I believe just freeing up a little bit of that supply would be beneficial to him. I mean, he is banking 4,000 minerals right now. I mean, that's a huge amount of minerals being banked. And so the efficiency of just using those minerals is not as efficient as it can be. I mean, yes, you could probably replenish as fast as a Zerg player with the amount of production that you have. And I mean, if we just take a look at the loss count, Cure is still higher in the resources count with the units lost. And so Maru is just playing a more efficient game at this point. Just that micro, just having the ability to really cancel out these siege tanks and prevent that splash damage on the bio is really what's turning the tide in this battle and essentially the war. I mean, I wish Kira can start putting down those lockdowns on those siege tanks, but each of the Ravens are really out of battle or out of mana, and so we don't have the ability to do that. And then this base right here is under huge amounts of pressure, huge amounts of fire, and if this base goes down, I think this is going to be GG for the game. This is super hard to come back, especially if the blue Terran player is just going to camp out at this base. All the blue Terran player has to do is really hold this base out, prevent the mining from the red Terran player, and if you're going to be on a 3-base economy versus a 2-base economy, eventually you're going to win out. Maru's going to win out in just the resources tab. The good thing about this right here is that Cure has a humongous bank, but it's really high in the mineral, not the gas. And so the only units that Maru can, or that Cure can essentially build right now, are Marines and Hellions, and those are a very poor composition against this this type of build order for Maru. Incredibly weak. This whole, and you have the high ground. Maru has a high ground. Cure, Maru has a high ground. This isn't gonna work. You know what Obi-Wan did. And I think that's going to be GG at this point. That was a huge loss for the red Terran player. Now he's starting to spend his mineral and his gas, but he's super low in gas right now. There is barely any gas, so any tier 3, tier 2 units are pretty much going to be nullified at this point. You may be able to, produce 1 siege tank at a time, but everything else will have to be heavy in Marines and Hellions. Oh, it's going to be so hard to come back from this. I mean, and look at... Maru has taken the 5th expansion of Cure. Now Maru's on 4 mining base. And now, in terms of economics, Maru is definitely ahead. He's out incoming. His income is 1,000 more. Double that of the red Terran player. And if you're going to do a battle of attrition and just do a base trade or just an army trade, Maru will be able to replenish very quickly and take this GG. Yeah, this base is completely mined out right now. Kira is going to try to do some sort of base trade type of thing, but with this amount of army and with these really skimpy Marines with only 1 medevac, just being able to do stim pack is going to be a huge burden for those red marines. These red marines will be going down behind. We will see a drop on top of these tanks, and these tanks will have to unsiege, otherwise friendly fire will be ensued. And so now the red Terran player is going to break through and destroy the incoming unsieged tanks. Beautiful pincer attack by the red Terran player, but I still don't think this is enough. I think Maru is going to be able to produce very quickly. I mean, he does have this expansion right here. Maybe drop a whole bunch of mules right here just to mine out this expansion, so that the red Terran player won't have that extra mineral income. But this is such a tight game, and the GG was called for Maru. So Maru has been victorious in this best of 5 match. This is game number 1, and Kira, that was a fantastic battle, but we're just gonna have to wait and see for game number 2 if he can come back from that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, this is my 3rd casting, and so I am getting a little bit more confident in the cast, and I do hope that everyone here does enjoy this style of casting. And I will be studying more on the different types of build orders, and we'll be refreshing up on the different newer abilities that's been updated. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I don't remember or don't know some of the abilities out now. So it's been a while. And so, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next commentary. Take care.